Well, I finally got to St. Genevieve's. and, and what a wonderful evening it has been. But I never thought that I would come down and follow this program. Well, I was, as Jimmy was, I was overcome with emotion during the Mass. And I want to thank Dan again and the officials of this school for inviting me to be here, inviting us to be here tonight, to be a part of that wonderful ceremony. I was talking to some of the students before the Mass, and they said, you're going to like our Mass. It's different from others. Well, they were right. I agree with them. It was really, really wonderful. And I also want to thank the students for the great contribution to the Carter Center. It is so great of you, as Jimmy said in a news conference tonight, that it's rare that students collect that much money. I remember once we had students collecting pennies. We had barrels full that the post office didn't even want them. We took them. The bank didn't want them either. And it was not nearly, I mean, this contribution is incredible. And I'm going to just tell you one story about the Carter Center. I was asked to talk about our work at the Carter Center. I'm going to tell you one story. And you can feel like, when you hear this story, that what you do here at St. Genevieve's now is a part of everything we do. It's a part of this program that I'm going to tell you about. Well, we work on, I think, Jimmy, did you tell them about 5 neglected diseases? What the World Health Organization calls 5 neglected diseases. They're diseases that they're not neglected because very few people have them. Millions of people have them. But they're in the poorest, most isolated countries in the world. These diseases are not in the Western world, the civilized world. They are diseases you've never heard of, probably, but Jimmy has told you about guinea worm. We work with river blindness, lymphatic filariasis, which is elephantiasis, schistosomiasis, which comes from a snail in the water, and trachoma. And my story is about trachoma. I have lots of stories, and when I tell you this, you can see why I go to Africa all the time. I get tired of going, but I'm always there 2 or 3 times a year. We were working on trachoma. Trachoma is an infection of the eye. Used to have it in Georgia when Jimmy was little. I might have had it too. I think we probably call it sore eyes. It's an eye infection. And in about 12 years, people go blind. And so the way we treat trachoma, the World Health Organization has a program called SAFE, surgery, antibiotics, faces, and environment. We work on all of them, but mostly on faces and environment. And faces is teaching them to wash their faces. This is caused by filth. And the environment is building latrines. They just go to, and they don't have latrines, they don't have bathrooms. And they just go out on the grounds. The flies are everywhere. You go to these places and you see the little children. They look like they have on sunglasses. They're flies, big flies, just sitting, sucking the moisture from their eyes. And so we decided to send one person in from the Carter Center. The Carter Center, we don't send any money to the government. We send our people in, and we usually send 1 or 2 people in. We work with their health department and teach them how to do these things. And so we sent one person in to teach them how to dig a latrine. And we got word, we thought this was toward the end of 2004, I think, and we thought they might dig 10,000 latrines before the end of the year. Well, the first thing I heard was that they had, at the end of that year, they had built 89,000 latrines. And it all happened because one woman got really so happy because she had a latrine. And she got all of the women busy, and they all got their husbands digging latrines. I don't know. They do it themselves. We teach them how, and they do it. And so this woman, I had to go see this woman. And so we went, the next time this was in Ethiopia. And so the next time we went to Ethiopia, we went to see her. And we got to her place. They lived in this hut made of dung. And they had built the latrine right outside. And it was, they had put sticks around it and palm fronds and leaves on it. And it was covered. But what we learned before we got there was that the women couldn't go to the bathroom in the daytime in that culture. If they had to go, they went in the dirt floor in their hut and took it out at night. And so this woman we had a television cameraman with us. When we go to countries like that, sometimes when we leave the capital city, we'll have a TV station going along somebody from the TV station. So I was looking in the latrine, and it had a flap hanging down, kind of like burlap. I was looking in, and they have these big gourds like this, and they had cut the top off and had a stem, and they had taken a vine and tied it to the top of the latrine, and that was the lid. Well, I was looking in at it, and this one behind me saying to the TV camera, "Now I can go to the back. Now I can relieve myself anytime I want to." Well, the other thing you do for a trachoma is cleanliness, telling them to wash their face. That's faces. And so right outside the latrine was some sticks bound together with a big gourd in the middle. And somebody said to this little girl, she was 4 years old, they said, but little, "Show the president how you wash your face." So she pulled out the stopper, washed her face. And it was really wonderful. And then this little boy was dancing around. He was smaller. And I said, "Jimmy, he wants to tell us something." So he started running across the interpreter talked to him and something. He running across the ground. And that was his latrine. It didn't have a cover on it, but he had his own latrine. And so now, in that section of Ethiopia, they have over 600,000 latrines. Jimmy Carter said that he used to be known as being president of the United States. Now he's known as building more latrines than anybody in the world. But what happens is they clean up. You should see how spotless the yards are. And they clean up, and it's just really wonderful. And now the school teachers in that whole area check the children's faces every morning to be sure they've washed them. So every time we go, we've been going for so long now, and the things that we started are coming to fruition, and it just does something to your soul to see what happens when these things go. So every time a latrine is built, you're a part of it. Every time a pill is given to prevent river blindness, St. Genevieve's is part of it. Everything we do now, St. Genevieve's is part of it. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful to you for that. And the last thing I want to say is, what if all the schools in our country were like St. Genevieve's? We'd be friendly and peaceful and just a totally different world. So I just have great, great admiration for you and the faculty and the staff of this great institution. Thank you very much.
I don't need to say anything. I'm going to let my wife speak for us tonight. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.